Into a crowd, injuring 8 people. Police believe it was. A driver slams into people on a busy sidewalk.
We have 3 criticals. We need 3 ambulances.
Injuring at least 8, the youngest 13. Police now saying the crash appears intentional.
Also this morning, breaking new developments in that deadly terror attack. Authorities now revealing new details about the bombers, one of them a woman. The new arrests overnight as the FBI joins the investigation.
Flash flood alert. Heavy rain submerges cars at the Dallas airport overnight, delaying flights, forcing water rescues, and now that system is moving east.
Biden's big announcement. We're learning when the former vice president will jump in the race and how he's planning to take on President Trump.
The sexual assault allegation rocking the sports world. A TV reporter speaks out, accusing Sacramento Kings coach Luke Walton of attacking her at a hotel.
Britney Spears breaks her silence. The singer's surprise message overnight after checking into a mental health facility. Now she's setting the record straight.
And meet America's newest millionaires. The millennial taking home the 3rd largest Powerball jackpot ever, and the Jeopardy star buzzing his way to more than $1 million. Will he top Ken Jennings for the most winnings ever?
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America. Hope you're well this Wednesday morning. Jeopardy must-see TV again.
So good. He is on fire. Ken Jennings' record back in 2004 was $2.5 million. So Ken James beat it. We will see.
He's
well on his way.
He's on track to do that. We're going to be covering that this morning. But first, we've got a lot of news to get to, beginning with that breaking news overnight. A car slamming into a crowd in California, injuring at least 8 people. Police now say they believe this crash was intentional and that the driver is in custody. ABC's Will Carr starts us off with the very latest.
We have 3 criticals. We need 3 ambulances.
Overnight, a speeding car that witnesses say had no intention to stop ran down 8 people.
I need units out here for crowd control.
The collision powerful enough to mangle the front of the dark car. That tree was the only thing that could stop the car after it left a trail of carnage. Bikes flipped over, backpacks scattered in the street. Images of a night outdoors turned tragic. Police immediately arrested the driver. Investigators say they believe he may have targeted the group of pedestrians.
The driver who struck the vehicle looks like it might have been an intentional act. The scene itself doesn't show any kind of evidence of braking.
Emergency crews transported at least 8 people to the hospital. The youngest victim, a 13-year-old girl.
We do know several of the patients that we had treated on scene had serious injuries.
The big question this morning is why. Authorities say they're looking in to see if drugs or alcohol were involved or if that driver knew any of the victims. At this point, they believe this was an isolated incident. George.
A lot of questions answered. Well, thanks very much. Now to new developments in that deadly terror attack in Sri Lanka. We're learning more about the identity of the bombers, one of them a woman, and authorities are making more arrests as the death toll continues to climb. ABC's James Longman is on the scene in Colombo. Good morning, James.
Good morning, George. A lot of activity here overnight. 20 more people have now been arrested across this country, meaning 60 are now in police custody. Some of the booby-trapped vehicles have also been found, but the hunt is still on this morning for more bombs. This, as we discover, a woman was part of the plot. With the death toll at now at least 359, this is possibly ISIS's deadly ever single attack. Watch in this chilling video. You can clearly see one of the bombers about to set off his explosive in a church, brushing past a little girl with the bomb on his back, only to kill scores of children moments later. And news emerging this morning that a woman was part of the plot. She set off a suicide vest at this safe house. It killed her, 2 children and 3 police officers hours after the suicide bombings on Easter Sunday.
But what's interesting about this place is it's owned by an individual whose other property was raided back in January, and they found explosives at that time. There seem to be some pretty extraordinary security lapses here.
The FBI now joining the investigation, poring over new surveillance images. Authorities looking at the men in this video wearing backpacks in a hotel elevator.
IS has claimed responsibility. There were foreign links and that this could not have been done just locally.
While the Prime Minister says ISIS has claimed responsibility, the terror group has yet to offer proof. Sri Lankan security officials were given warnings but did not act on any of the tips. The government says these horrors were in revenge for the mosque attacks in New Zealand last month that left 50 dead. But New Zealand's Prime Minister this morning saying that's not the case.
We haven't received any intelligence reports that corroborate what has been said in Sri Lanka.
Now, critical locations are all being secured. Airports, embassies and churches have all stepped up security. This country is trying to mourn, but still braced for further attacks. Cecilia?
They sure are. OK, James, thank you. And as we've been reporting, ISIS has claimed responsibility for those bombings, raising questions about how strong the group is after losing territory in the Middle East. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz has more from Washington. Martha, good morning. How are U.S. officials responding?
Well, Cecilia, overnight, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security issuing an intelligence bulletin saying that ISIS will almost certainly use these Sri Lankan bombings to further its rhetoric for like-minded attacks. Counterintelligence officials believe these bombings were not just inspired by ISIS, but could have been directed and coordinated by veterans of ISIS battles in Iraq and Syria, who returned to Sri Lanka after the defeat of ISIS in the Mideast. The attacks were clearly well-financed, the bomb-making sophisticated, and the coordination really nearly flawless. This may well be a look at ISIS 2.0. We have heard President Trump say ISIS is defeated in Iraq and Syria, but this is a terrorist group whose radical ideology is still spreading across the globe and clearly still posing a powerful and deadly threat. George?
It lives online. Okay, Martha, thanks very much. We're going to the White House now, where President Trump is taking a new hard line against congressional investigations, strongly suggesting that he will block his former White House counsel Don McGahn and other aides from testifying to the House. Let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, John Carlin. John, McGahn is the star witness in the volume of the Mueller report dealing with obstruction of justice.
He was the star witness in the Mueller report, which is exactly why Democrats want him to testify before Congress. He was the White House counsel, George, for 21 months and witness to multiple efforts by the president to take control of the investigation. But the president is suggesting that he wants to block all of his aides, former and current, from testifying before the House, which he says amounts to testifying before the Democrats that control the House. This is what he told the Washington Post. I don't want people testifying to a party because that is what they're doing if they do this. And then he went further with the Post and suggested that because McGahn and others have testified before the special counsel, there's no need. He says, I allowed my lawyers and all my people to go and testify to Mueller, and you know how I feel about that whole group of people that did the Mueller report. I was so transparent. They testified for so many hours. They have all that information that's been given. But George, some legal experts say that the very fact that the president allowed those aides to talk to the special counsel means he cannot now declare executive privilege to keep them from talking to Congress.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point the chair of the House Judiciary Committee is making. Meanwhile, in another committee, a separate committee, threatening to hold an administration official in contempt because the White House is preventing him from testifying about security clearances.
Yes, this is Carl Klein. He was the head of the White House Personnel Security Office, in charge of those security clearances. Congress has subpoenaed him to testify, as demanded he testify. He is saying that he will not because he has been directed by the White House counsel not to testify. And he has an interesting answer to this. He says that he has two masters from two equal branches of government, both making demands of him, Congress that he testify, the White House that he not testify, and that he is going to listen to the one that basically pays his paycheck.
That one is going to go to the courts. Meantime, the Treasury Secretary defying Congress on this request for the president's tax returns.
That's right. Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, thinks that there are legal problems with this request. He is not going to give a firm answer on this, he says, yes or no, on whether or not he will turn over the tax returns until May 6th. After he gets an opinion from the Department of Justice.
John Carl, thanks very much. And President Trump is about to face a new challenger in the race for the White House. Former Vice President Joe Biden set to launch his campaign on Thursday. Polls show he's going to be the early front runner in a crowded field. Our chief national correspondent Tom Yam is tracking the race. And Tom, he may enter as the front runner, but a lot of hurdles.
A lot of things have changed, especially his party and also the trail since he last campaigned about 7 years ago. Now, what we do know is that in the next 24 hours, Democrats will have a new candidate for president. Vice President Joe Biden expected to release a video announcing he is running for president. Now, Biden is planning a rally in Pittsburgh on Monday to follow up. And Pennsylvania is such a critical battleground state. It's where he grew up, but it's also a state that President Trump won. And part of Biden's argument will be that he is a Democrat who can win back states Hillary Clinton lost. But like his experience, his voting record and time in the spotlight is extensive. Already having to address past interactions with women who said he crossed the line with unwanted kisses and hugs. Biden saying he will be more mindful going forward. He will enter, and many polls, as you mentioned, show him as the front runner. But as we also know, he joins a crowded field, and that's really just an understatement. By our count, he'll be the 20th Democrat to enter the race. George, as you know, he's 76 years old. If he were to run and if he were to win, he'd be 78, the oldest ever elected president.
Tom Yamas, thanks very much.
Well, now to that sex abuse scandal rocking the Boy Scouts. The organization is accused of keeping a confidential file on abusive troop leaders and volunteers, documenting thousands of allegations of child sex abuse over decades. According to new court testimony from an expert who's reviewed the files, there's been more than 12,000 alleged victims. That file goes back to the 1940s. The Boy Scouts of America tells us we care deeply about all the victims of child abuse and sincerely apologize to anyone who was harmed during their time scouting. Every instance of suspected abuse is reported to law enforcement.
Okay, Janae, we're going to turn now to that severe weather and flash flooding hitting the south overnight. Half a foot of rain leading to water rescues in Texas, and now that system is moving east. Rob Marciano's here tracking it all. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Cecilia. This has some wind to it as well, as we saw just to the west of Fort Worth, Breckenridge, Texas. 60 and in some cases 70-mile-per-hour winds there. Here's Fort Worth. Look at the water coming up through the storm drains. A tough go there. This all started late last night and continuing during the overnight hours. We have flood warnings that are posted for Dallas, flash flood watches that are posted for nearly all of central Texas as these storms continue to train over them. In some cases, rainfall rates of 2 inches per hour, and that is difficult to keep up on. We are seeing some ponding all over the roadways there, especially in Dallas, where we have Marcus Moore. He's with us now in Love Field. Good morning, Marcus.
Hey, Rob, good morning. Take a look at this. There are cars, even pickup trucks underwater here this morning. This is one of the main parking garages at Dallas's Love Field Airport, and I have counted dozens of cars, trucks, and SUVs submerged, some of them completely underwater, and you can hear that pump going in the background. They have brought those in to try to move the massive amounts of water that have created a real mess here overnight. Rob?
Marcus, it is going to be a struggle there today as the rainfall continues. This system not really moving all that quickly. You see it kind of just making a lateral move off to the east, and we have a severe weather threat today. It includes Waco, Austin, San Antonio, down through Corpus Christi, getting through Houston and Lake Charles as well. We don't expect a lot of tornadoes with this, but that's a possibility. Strong winds, large hail, and of course, a lot of rainfall with this. George, over.
Okay, Rob, thanks very much. Now the latest on a police shooting sparking protests in Connecticut. Newly released body cam footage shows police opening fire on an unarmed man after he got out of his car with his hands in the air. ABC's Lindsay Davis here with that story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning to you, George. For several days, massive protests, including hundreds of Yale University students, have made several demands, including the release of the dash cam and body cam video. Now we're getting a look at the body cam video.
This newly released body camera video is raising more questions this morning about this police-involved shooting in New Haven, Connecticut.
20 shots fired, Argyle Street, with the car.
Watch again. The driver opens the door. Within seconds, his hands go up and police open fire.
Was he ordered to open the door? There are indications that he was told to open the door, yes, or come out with his hands up.
A surveillance video obtained by ABC News shows another vantage point, again appearing to show Paul Witherspoon being shot at by police while his hands are in the air. Investigators say his girlfriend, 22-year-old Stephanie Washington, who was in the passenger seat, was shot in the torso. Both were unarmed. Police say this all began when a Hamden and Yale police officer were investigating a report of an attempted armed robbery and spotted this red Honda, which allegedly fit the description. The officers involved claim the driver made an abrupt movement and ignored commands.
The police, they supposed to do their job. I've seen videos all over the world of them doing worse to people. I just never thought it would happen to me.
Now, we still don't know why the Yale officer did not have his dash cam or body cam turned on. The Hamden officer turned his body cam on just seconds before the incident.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And that investigation continues, Lindsay. Thank you. Well, now to new developments in that tiger attack at a Kansas zoo. This morning, we're learning more about those terrifying moments in the enclosure and how the zookeeper's colleague saved her life. ABC's Zachary Keish is here with the latest. Zachary, good morning.
A miracle on so many levels, Janae. A tiger attacks and the victim lives to share her story. We now know about that zookeeper clamped in the hold of that powerful cat and how both animal and staff training played a role in that dramatic rescue.
This morning, new details on how the staff at the Topeka Zoo distracted Sanjeev, that 275-pound Sumatran tiger, and likely saved their co-worker.
We train these animals to come inside and come to us whenever we call. So I think that training saved both of these lives.
The animal pounced on zookeeper Kristen Hayden Ortega, then simply walked away. This video shows Kristen in the tiger's pen just moments before the attack. The director saying if that tiger would have taken one more turn back towards the zookeeper, lethal force would have been used. Animal Care was calling the tiger back to the enclosure while staff stood by with a firearm.
Keepers grabbed his bucket. They knew what to do, and they grabbed his bucket and they called his name.
Kristen has been with the zoo since 2001. She is still recovering at a local hospital, but has been applauded for her reputation as being meticulous and careful.
The zoo says this morning they have no questions about the integrity of that space or environment. Guys?
All right, Zachary.
Yeah, wild story.
Tough one. Thank you. Guys ready for a fun one? The millennial millionaire, a 24-year-old Wisconsin man, now one of the luckiest people in the world. He's coming forward to claim his $768 million Powerball jackpot. ABC's Gio Benitez is here with all the details. And Gio, he predicted this was his lucky ticket. Whew, was he right?
He was right, Cecilia. Good morning. Yeah, that young man is taking the lump sum, $477 million after taxes. He says he feels like he's in a dream. And this morning, America has a very young new millionaire.
It was amazing. My heart started racing, blood pumping. My blood felt warm. I screamed for about 5 or 10 minutes.
This morning, a 24-year-old is a mega millionaire after winning the $768 million Powerball jackpot.
I simply just can't believe that an ordinary guy like me could ever win the Powerball.
Can you smile, man?
Manuel Franco bought the winning ticket at a Wisconsin gas station in March.
I honestly felt so lucky that I did look up at the camera, and I really wanted to wink at it because I just had that lucky feeling.
His gut wasn't exactly wrong.
I think it was the third ticket. I did win $4, and I was super excited about that. It doesn't happen very often.
Several zeros short of winning the big thing, Franco, who says he's been buying lottery tickets since he was 18, figured he would try another time until
I see that last ticket come out. It was so attached to the other one. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like no way. I go straight to that Powerball number and I look at it and it matched.
Now a millennial millionaire.
I pretty much never showed up for work again.
Franco says he's going to be responsible with his new millions.
I'm not a big guy that's going to go buy fancy stuff. Like, well, of course, I might go buy fancy stuff, but nothing like, nothing too big.
Yeah, we'll see how fancy. Well, Franco says he and his girlfriend bought 2 other tickets for the same lottery, but that those tickets were not the winners, so it's unclear this morning whether he's going to share his new riches.
I'm sure that girlfriend has some questions.
Thanks, Gio.
Gio. A lot of stories we're following this morning, including the TV sports reporter who's accusing NBA coach Luke Walton of sexual assault. She is now coming forward, telling her story. That's coming right up.
And Britney Spears' surprise message to fans after checking into a wellness facility. Now she is setting the record straight, but first let's go back over to Rob.
Back to Texas, big state, big weather. Look at this hail coming down in Andrews near Midland, accumulating on the roadways there, kind of creating a soapy effect. And we've got more rain coming to you as this system moves to the east. Going to be a mess in the northeast tomorrow, but severe weather from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, strong winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes tomorrow afternoon. Time now for your Stormy City is brought to you by Amazon Prime Wardrobe.
Give me your hand, darling. Do you feel the same? Am I only dreaming? Hey. Hey.
Try before you buy with Prime Wardrobe.
We're back with breezy sunshine today after those overnight showers. Temperature starting out very mild, up some 15 degrees from yesterday, starting out in the 60s. We'll have highs today in the mid 70s, but blowing around a lot of pollen. National Park Week. Hope you join us tomorrow morning. On Friday, though, we've got rain back. Some spotty showers in the morning. Chance of storms for the afternoon, especially 4 to 6 p.m. And then an isolated shower is expected on Sunday with highs in the lower to mid 70s.
The amount of coordination on the set always strikes me. Look at the straw and then Cecilia's orange dress.
This is a requirement. My straws always have to match my dress.
Corey is living with metastatic breast cancer.